Hi, everyone. This is Abby Stote with OneKey MLS. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our first time doing an office meeting in a box on live stream. So again, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. Today, we're going to review the March MLS Unlocked slides. These slides are sent to you monthly via our newsletter, so you can access them after we are done with the webinar if you need to go back and revisit some of the topics. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I will answer them at the end as best as I can. And I'm going to give 1 minute just to see if we have some more people logging on here. So again, you can reach out to any of us at compliance if you're looking to find these slides after the meeting is over. But thank you for joining us. Okay, I think we have a few people on here. So I'm gonna get started. So this is our MLS Unlocked March 2026 office meeting in a box. And here's today's agenda. This is some of the topics we're going to be covering today. Some new additions to Matrix and our website, and some real estate literacy, some cool and exciting stuff and tips. Okay, so we're going to start off with a little history fun fact. March is Women's History Month. So the past few months, we've been highlighting some pioneers in real estate. This month, we've been focusing on women. So today, I'm going to read a little bit about Catherine Bauer Worcester. She's a pioneering force who authored the law that transformed affordable housing in America. She published Modern Housing in 1934. And she was the main author of the U.S. Housing Act in 1937. So pretty cool fun fact, and happy Women's History Month. Moving right along, we've got some compliance updates, and we have our new listing data checker, which is going to be launched on April 1st. So I'm going to get into a little bit about that. So if you haven't heard already, we'll be launching our listing data checker, also known as LDC, which is the automated system that reviews listings for potential violations and sends notifications to the listing agent, broker, and when applicable, the office manager. Depending on the type of violation, agents may have the opportunity to correct their listing before a fine is issued. So as you probably know, in mid-November, we started a courtesy period for the LDC, and the period is now ending on March 31st. And the launch date will be April 1st. So you have a little bit of time left in that courtesy window. I highly recommend that you go and check your current listings to see if you have any open violations. So prior to the launch, because April 1st is when violations and fines will start to be issued. So we're going to go over some LDC updates and things you need to know with our Learning and Outreach Manager, James Goggin. So we're going to play this video.
OneKeyers. As many of you know, we are in the courtesy period of the listing data checker. Now, what that means is if LDC finds a violation on your listing, you're not getting fined for it. That is going to change. So it's important that we update any of our listings that do currently have violations. Now, how do we figure out if our listing has a violation? Well, one way is you should have received an email. So you can dig through your email to find it. Or if you're like me and every email just goes into the abyss, log into your Matrix dashboard. From here, you want to scroll down to the LDC widget. This is going to tell you if you have any open violations. You can see those violations, and then you can log into Matrix. You can edit your listing, and you can update that listing to take care of that violation. If you have any questions throughout this process, please feel free to reach out to our compliance team. They are always happy to help out.
All right, so thank you, James, for those tips and suggestions as we move into the LDC launch. So now we're going to do a quick compliance quiz. Don't worry, you won't be graded on this. These are some common questions or mistakes people run into when we're dealing with compliance and violations. So we're going to do a quick pop quiz here. So question number 1, what is the time frame for a participant to enter their listing into the MLS? And the answer is all exclusive listings of property located within the MLS service area before midnight of the day after their listing date or before midnight of such later date as set forth in the listing agreement. So to put that plainly, you have until midnight after the listing date as written on the agreement. And this, people do make this mistake sometimes if you're having a busy day and you just happen to put it on not thinking or forget. You need to make sure that it's on before midnight the day after the listing date. Okay, moving on to question number 2. Can open house details be included in the public remarks of a listing? And the answer is the public remarks field is for describing the physical characteristics of the property, its location, and any lawful seller's instructions concerning a proposed transaction. So no, you cannot include open house information in the public remarks. Think of the public remarks as your one-stop shop for property information. We don't want any logistical information like such as an open house in there. We want the open house information filled out in the fields within Matrix when you're entering the listing. So no open house information in the public remarks. Question number 3, how many photos are required for every listing excluding businesses for sale or for rent? And the answer is 1 front exterior photograph of the property, which must be attached to the listing within 24 hours of the listing being entered into the MLS system. So you need 1 exterior photo, not an interior photo and not 0 photos. Some people do forget this since they do have that window, but you need to make sure that within 24 hours, there has to be a front exterior photo. That is required. So number 4, if a listing cannot be shown for 3 days or more, what status must it be changed to? And the answer is, if a listing cannot be shown for 3 or more days, its status must be changed to temporarily off the market, or TOM. Please note that if you're not able to show the property, or for some reason, if the property's not able to be shown, you need to mark it as temporarily off the market because it can lead to misleading information when other agents are trying to show the property. We want to make sure that that's put in. So keep that in mind when you're entering your listing. Okay, and bonus question, where can compensation information be included on a listing in the MLS? This is a trick one. The answer is nowhere. Compensation information may not be included in the MLS. Please note that as of April 1st, compensation violations will result in an automatic fine of $250. So you really want to make sure that you do not include any compensation information on your MLS listing because you will automatically get fined for $250. And this starts April 1st. So please keep that in mind when you're entering your listing. Okay. LDC workflow. So this is how the LDC is going to work. You're going to enter your listing into the MLS and that will automatically trigger the LDC. The LDC listing data checker then scans your listing for any violations and you will receive a notice or fine in your email if you do receive a violation. So as Jane mentioned, there is this widget, LDC, on your OneKey Clarity dashboard. The listing agent and broker can log on to OneKey and check the documentation, make the correction, or pay the fine. So you have open violations here, my notifications, and violation history. And this is where you can find all the information on that. Please feel free to scan this QR code. This will bring you to an article that outlines all our rules and procedures and has an entire list of the violations that the LDC checks for. It explains all the violations and what they mean and how to correct them. So this is a very useful thing to have in your back pocket. I'll give you a minute to scan it, but again, you can revisit these slides at the end via the newsletter link that we send out. And feel free to reach out if you can't find that link and you need the slides sent to you. Okay. So moving on, we have a new short-term seasonal listing field being added to Matrix. And I'm going to show you what that means. So currently you have short-term seasonal fields available. You can choose by month or season. You have seasonal, short-term here. You have a renewal option under special listing conditions, and you can also add additional fields here. And this is for rental properties. But this is now going to change. So on March 25th, tomorrow, listing agents will be required to enter one listing per month or season instead of extending the same listing over and over. So you won't be able to renew a listing. You'll have to use the copy listing function to save on manual entry. You'll have to copy the listing for each month and each season that the rental listing is going up. So keep that in mind. That is a change for short-term seasonal fields. So under add edit for the lease term, you have these options currently here. However, month to month, seasonal and weekly will be going away. And now you're just going to have short-term seasonal as an option. And if you do select short-term seasonal, you'll have to specify the month or season that the rental is going to be available. Also under add edit, as I said, the month or season available will have to be selected. This is changing from a multi-select to a single select. So you'll have to choose the month or season. You won't be able to select multiple. However, legacy listings will keep the multi-select data. Okay. Okay, so there are 10 new fields being added to this area, new short-term seasonal section. So these fields will only display when short-term seasonal is selected. Cleaning fee will be required. Sleeps and number of beds are numerical, and all others will be a multi-select function. So again, if you have any questions on that, feel free to put them in the chat and I will address them at the end. Another new field is furnishings. So new furnishings field is required when furnished values of furnished or partial are selected. So if you select furnished or partial as part of your listing, it will be included as a new field that displays right here. If you see where it's highlighted, furnished, this particular one is furnished. So two other fields that are getting removed will be seasonal rent and off-season rent. They're not very often used, so we are removing them. Okay, so some search updates. New fields may be added to rental and cross-property searches using additional fields. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page when you're searching for a rental property, it has that additional fields button that you can select, and this will pop up. You will have these new options included with the update. So cleaning fee, sleeps, number of beds, furnishings, interior accommodations, etc. Host provided, host or owner language. All of that will be added. So you have a little bit, you have more options to filter and search there. And some display dates coming with these new fields. So new short-term seasonal section and fields will only be visible when values are populated on 360 and full reports. So this box here, you can see short-term seasonal. All of this will appear when you're going to print out a listing or email a listing in the 360 and full view reports. So it has all the information right there. New furnishings field will appear in the interior features section. So down here where it's highlighted, furnishings, that's where the information will appear if you put in any furnishing details. Okay, so again, if you have any questions on that, put them in the chat or feel free to contact us. Moving along, we are getting some major updates to our websites, corporate.onekeymls.com, and our consumer-facing site, onekeymls.com. So some exciting new features here that we're going to go over. So corporate.onekeymls.com is getting a fresh new look. It's going to have simplified navigation, so that'll hopefully be a little bit more user-friendly for you. And all essential tools and resources will remain easily accessible. So it's just getting a little freshen up look, and we're excited to launch that. And the consumer-facing website, OneKeyMLS.com, is getting also a fresh look. It's going to be powered by Broker Public Portal. It's going to have more intuitive searching and reports, and listings will additionally feed to the national site Cribio. So this is a cool new feature that you will be getting with your OneKey subscription that I'm going to go into right now. Oh, also with the website, similar to the current site, all consumer leads are funneled directly to the listing brokerage at no additional cost. So there's still lead routing with this new update, and leads will be fed to the listing brokerage or agent. Nothing changing there. And to talk about the Cribio ad, so this is the national website that your listings will be fed to. It's built by industry leaders, so we're very excited to add this. It's going to have the most up-to-date MLS listings, plus you can explore off-market homes across the entire country. So you'll have access to that. So that's an amazing feature. Say your client is moving to a new state, you'll be able to search listings throughout the country. It's also going to have a smart search, and it's going to have no ads. It's clean and clear, and it's built for agents. So it's going to be beneficial for you. So like I said, every home nationwide, Cribio, to compete with national portals, they offer a holistic search experience that includes not only on-market listings, but information on every property across America. So this is kind of what it will look like, similar to your other competitors like Zillow, Redfin. It's going to be, you can search any property throughout the country. Okay, so going into some real estate literacy, that was our campaign for the month. We added an article here for real estate appraisal frequently asked questions. So sometimes dealing with appraisals can be confusing, or you have some questions about it. You can go to this article by scanning the QR code here, and you can boost your knowledge on appraisals or freshen up your knowledge with these FAQs. So I'll give you a minute to scan that. And again, I'll reiterate that you have access to these slides after this webinar is over. Okay, so moving forward, here's a little tip regarding floor plans. So include floor plans as an element in appraisals to preview listings for your buyers or promote your listing. So we have a tool called Kubicasa. Some of you may have used it. Some of you may not have used it. It's under your apps and tools on your OneKey Clarity dashboard. You have access to it right now, so feel free to go play with it when this webinar is done. But here are just a few fun facts about including floor plans with your listing. So floor plans are the most desirable feature after photos and detailed property info. Floor plans decrease days on market by up to 50%, and consumers are 81% more likely to view, a property when they like the floor plan. So it's definitely important to include floor plans, but there is an easy way that you can do it yourself without hiring someone to go out and do it by using Kubicasa. So we're going to go into that right now and how to use that. So number one, use the tile on the OneKey dashboard to access and create an account and or download the app from the App Store. So there is an app on the App Store that you can download directly onto your phone. I recommend doing that so that if you're out in the field and you have record the property, that's what you're going to be using. So definitely get the app. But you can access it via this tile, this button under our solutions on your OneKey Clarity dashboard. This is what the button looks like, Kubicasa. Okay, and the next step will be you take 5 minutes to create a recording and then make your desired selections and submit. So in this video, he'll show you easily how you do that with your phone. And this is included with your OneKey subscription. And you also get 25% off with MLS sponsored discounts and upgrades. So if you have to do an upgrade, you get a discount there. So we're just going to watch this quick video on how to create the floor plan with Kubicasa. Okay, awesome. So that's a quick, easy way how you can create floor plans using your phone. If you're in a pinch, it's definitely helpful. Like for whatever reason, say your client had to list the property like in a few days and you needed a floor plan right away before hiring out a photographer or a videographer to include that in their package, you can do this right on your phone using Kubicasa. So within 24 hours after you film the video, you'll receive a floor plan and landing page to share with a client as part of your marketing, or you can upload it to your listing. So it's a 24-hour delivery, super fast. It covers up to 5,000 square feet of scanned area, and it's available with or without room dimensions, and no credit card is required. So this is a super awesome tool that you can use right now if you wanted to. So feel free to explore that when we get off of this webinar or whenever you have a chance. You can also scan this QR code that will bring you to an article that kind of really lays out step-by-step how Kubicasa works and how you can use it. And again, feel free to contact us if you have any questions about this, or if you have any questions in the chat, I will address them at the end. Okay, so here's a customer success tip. We've received some questions regarding emails going into their spam from OneKey and from OneHome. So this is how you avoid that from happening, how you can prevent that from happening. So ensure you and your client receive emails sent through OneKey. You would add at OneKeyMLS.com and key at northeastmatrixmail.com to your safe sender list. So the key email address is the email address that sends the OneHome notifications. So if your client, for some reason, is getting them in their spam, unfortunately, it does happen with certain email providers and their security settings. So this is one way to work around that. We have a step-by-step process here. If you want to scan this QR code, it'll tell you exactly how to do that. And then hopefully they will not go to your spam any longer. I'll give you a minute to scan that QR code. Again, you'll have access to these slides afterwards. Okay, I do see some questions coming in, so I will address them at the end. And we are at the end. So to recap everything, We have a new short-term seasonal field being added tomorrow. So look out for that. If you're someone that handles short-term or seasonal rentals, there are going to be some changes there. The LDC listing data checker grace period is ending and fines will be live on April 1st. So make sure you go back, check your listings to see if you have any open violations sitting there. The new updates on our website are coming very soon, corporate.onekeymls.com, and our consumer-facing website, onekeymls.com. So we're very excited for that. Keep an eye out for the updates. And we covered some real estate literacy. You can look at those articles regarding appraisals and how to use Kubicasa to your advantage. And put OneKeyMLS.com and key at northeastmatrixmailer.com in your safe sender list to avoid spam emails. You can learn more at support.onekeymls.com, and you can always feel free to contact our customer support if you have any questions. So now I'm going to look and see what questions I have here. Okay. So how do we get notified when leads come in? That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure, so I will have to, with the new update, I'll have to confirm with my compliance team how the notifications, but you will be notified of any leads on your specific listings. And will those fields be visible to clients in one home? I don't know exactly which fields are. I think you're talking about the short-term seasonal fields. If so, if you're discussing the short-term seasonal fields, then yes, in one home, you should be able to see those in the description, just like you would on a listing sheet. But I will definitely confirm that. So yes, I think those are all the questions. One person put pending question mark, and I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but feel free to shoot me an email and I can address these questions directly. My email address is astote@onekeymls.com. And you can also contact compliance@onekeymls.com with these questions, because I'm not sure what the pending is referring to, but we will definitely get into it and answer your question. And are there any other questions? Put them in the chat now. If you have them, I'll be happy to answer them. I think that is it. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is our office meeting in a box. We hope to do many more of these, so you can stay up to date on any updates, tips, suggestions, all OneKey news related. We'll be sending out these slides monthly, again, in our newsletter that comes to your email. Feel free to contact us if you cannot find that link, but these slides are available for you to view at any time and review. And thank you so much. And again, contact our support team if you have any questions, and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day.